These are some of the things mature people stop doing.
I'm Savante, and this is 50 on Purpose. The first thing is having to be right all the time. There are times where, being right truly matters, but you do not have to debate your entire existence in every conversation. It doesn't even matter. Think about it. Have you ever had a conversation with someone and you just decided, I don't care if this person accepts my point of view or not? You're just wasting your time. If you're not truly trying to have a meeting of the minds, it's a pointless conversation. And just move on. I'd rather have peace, especially at home. With my wife, peace is very important. Peace is way better than being right. And in fact, being right is overrated in the household. It is. You know what I mean? You can be right and still sleep on the couch. I'd rather have peace. Now, if I'm right, if it's something serious, something important, then I'll stand on it. But for the most part, I'd rather have the peace. The second thing that's a waste of time when it's just trying to prove yourself to people who don't matter. You realize at this stage in life that you don't need validation. You don't need external validation. If someone doesn't see your value by now, it's not your job to convince them that you have value. It's just a waste of time, We no longer, at this age, waste time trying to prove that, trying to be accepted, trying to prove that we are capable, trying to prove that we are worthy, trying to prove that we are successful. We don't care. We've lived enough life to know who we are, and we know that it's a waste of time convincing people who have already decided what their opinion of us is, what they think of us. They're not misunderstanding us. They just already decided who we are in their minds. So we've outgrown this need for external validations. We just wipe the dust off from our feet. Go somewhere where we are celebrated and not just tolerated, as the saying goes. Competing with other people. It ain't necessary. We people running their own race. We all at different stages in our lives. So it's unnecessary to compete with people. Do you know that there are people who are competing with you and you didn't even know you was in the competition? Oh yeah, they're watching you, observing you, and trying to beat you in things that doesn't matter. Your real competition is with self. And what I mean by that is, are you aligned with your own values? Does your private life match your public persona? You know what I mean? Are you in line with the things that you say that you about? Because that's really that's all that matters. So the competition is with yourself, not other people. So we ain't trying to compete. We don't care what nobody else doing. At the end of the day, you want people to be successful. You don't want to thrive off someone else's misery. You're not trying to outdo anyone. Now, if you're in business or something like that, that's different, because y'all competing over money. You're trying to make a living. So that's a different thing. But I'm just talking about just competing with things that don't matter. Competing for nonsense, The fourth thing that's a waste of time is thinking your career is your identity. Your career is something you do for a living. It's not your identity. Don't tie who you are to what you do, to how you make money. People do this all the time. Who are you when the job is over? When it comes to identity, it's not even just about career. Anything that's temporary, anything that will change is not your identity. The permanence of a thing is what establishes identity, not the temporary. Think about it. Your emotional state can't be your, you can't, how you feel is not who you are, because feelings change. What you do for a living, that can also change, and that comes to an end. So that's not your identity. So it changes. But what is it about you that doesn't change? Your nature. That doesn't change. Who you are on the inside, I'm talking about the God within. I'm not talking about emotional states again. I'm talking about the God within. God has deposited a part of himself in us. It said, you're all God's children of the Most High God. So God has deposited himself in us. So that's the thing that won't change. Now, the God within does not change. It's the same always. But he demands that we change to accommodate him. He's not going to change. The nature of God doesn't change. And the nature of that which he deposited in you doesn't change either. But it demands that you change. You are part of the whole. God being the whole, you are part of that, right? And the part is always of the same kind and quality as the whole. If you take a cup of water from the ocean, in that cup, the water in that cup will have the same percentage of salt that is in the entire ocean. It is not superior to the ocean, it's from the ocean. But it is of the same kind and quality. So you are of the same kind and quality as the Creator. Because, for an example, you have the power to come up with an idea, to vision something, and then bring that idea into reality. Just like the Creator. So your identity is not your career, it's not your emotional state, it's not any of those things. Who are you? Child of God. You are, in essence, God, his child. You are all God's children of the Most High God. The fifth thing is tolerating people who drain you. That's a big one. I mean, people who call only when they need something. Every conversation is about them. They just drain you of all your energy. They unload all the crap on you. If your family, your friends, sometimes you do have to cope with the flaws of your loved ones. And you do have to give them some of your time. But you don't have to let them drain you of all your energy. If they're going to make everything about them, they always need something, don't want to contribute anything. Or, you don't have to want anything from them, but they can't just take water out the well and don't put nothing back in. Come on, man. So, you don't want to tolerate people no more who just drain you of your energy. I had an ex that it was always a crisis with her, and she kept me in crisis mode. Now that's unsustainable for a relationship. So, I had to let her go because it was just so bad. I can't spend every second that we're together responding to a crisis, putting out fires all the time. It just didn't work. You know what I mean? And some people, they drain you by trying to just kill your dreams. You have ideas, they want to shoot it down. They always naysaying. The thing about being a naysayer is that when you're in that business, that you never come up with a viable alternative to the idea that's presented. It's always, it's not going to work. Or they give you this one. It's easier said than done. Everything in life is easier said than done. It's easier to say I'm going to get out of the bed than it is to actually get out of the bed, right? It's easier to say I'm going to tie my shoe than it is to actually do it, even though these are easy tasks. But it's always easier to say a thing, so they don't have to tell you that. That statement is just designed to, discourage you. So these people will drain you. And with me, I'm at a point in my life where the easiest way to lose me as a friend is to try to talk me out of my goals, try to talk me out of my ideas. If you ain't gonna offer some real assistance try to give me some real constructive criticism, which I can respect. And I don't even want criticism from people that I don't have nothing to do with. If you're not an example for me in any kind of way, I don't even really care too much for your criticism. We ain't tolerating that no more. So if you like this content, I want you all to just hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. I'll read every comment. All right? Peace, everybody.